Now I feel good. Thank you very much. It was a challenge to source the books. During the last 2 days, I met the most inspiring, knowledgeable, and amazing people, and I loved meeting you all. Make some noise. More noise. I was blown away by the breadth of experience, by curiosity, by warmness, and the burning desire to do something meaningful in this country. And I will speak today about the qualities we all need to foster in order to be able to achieve what we want to achieve in this country. So, my name is Olga, and for those who I haven't had yet pleasure of meeting and talking to, let me tell a little bit about myself. A few years ago, I learned that you can have a dream at any age, under any circumstances, at any stage of your life. A few years ago, I established a training company. And as much fun it is to run your own business, it's also pretty scary not to have an HR department, not to have a salary, not a single vacation paid. But I'm here, seeing you, meeting you, and being part of this adventure. I've seen development of Sakhalin 2 project, the full development cycle of the Sakhalin projects in the island of Sakhalin in Russia. And for those who haven't heard about Sakhalin, and to my statistics, there are only a few of you here who haven't heard of Sakhalin, that is an island which is right north of Japan. So Japan was our shopping destination. The project was run by Shell, Mitsui, and Mitsubishi, later joined by Gazprom as a major shareholder. The joining process was an experience and adventure in itself. In the project, we had a lot of oil. The project is big, huge. Not everybody realizes we have even more gas. And we built first specialized port in Russia. Very proud of that, but I will return to this separately. Together with 3 offshore platforms and a huge onshore processing facility, we had to lay down 800 kilometers of oil and gas pipeline. That's not everything that goes there. Together with that, we had a huge fiber optic cable to ensure that connection is maintained. Then I moved to Dubai and I joined Weatherford, together with its ambitious goals to generate a lot of revenue in Iraq. I had to look after a lot of revenue generating contracts and see how things can be improved. And by the way, what I wanted to say is in the brochure, thanks to organizers, my bio occupies the entire page. That gave me a sense of significance and importance. But we all have pages and hundreds of pages of experience to share here, and that's why we are here. And whether you realize it or not, the thing that happened with you and the thing that helped you along your careers in this industry is having a vision. Now, I'm asking you, think about one successful story in your life, just one success, small or big, when you achieved something that you thought was unachievable, you've attained something that you thought was unattainable, whether it's getting the job you wanted, whether it's finally getting promoted to a position that you dreamt of, or having a date with that special someone, or just buying your first car. Each of you have a feeling of success in your own hearts, and you carry it every single second. But how do we make it a collective success? What do we do to keep the vision, to create a vision as part of our collective mind? What I believe is that true sense of purpose doesn't come from what we can do for ourselves. It doesn't come from what we get for ourselves. The true sense of purpose comes from what we do for our people, comes from what we do for others. It comes from what we can do for our friends, for our colleagues, for our family. And it will come from the sense of what we can do for this nation. And in order to stay focused on the vision, let me offer the vision I see for this country. And it's a collaborative effort of everything I've learned before this trip and during this trip. I specifically met someone who served in the army here, helping to organize and reorganize a military potential. Back in 1976, he served in Uganda for 10 years, and he said, "Olga, you will love that country." And I do. Thank you. So what I see as the vision for this country is stable growth, absolutely sustainable development, engagement of all parts of the society, growth and accessibility of education, jobs secured for nationals. Believe it or not, if you stick to those local content aspirations throughout the project or project's life cycle, in few years there will be jobs that are only associated with national talent, not the expatriate talent. And I'm talking from manual labor jobs to the jobs that require leadership potential, high-rank paid jobs. The other thing is that the 1 to 6 rule will start to work. We all know 1 to 6 rule is called multiplication factor. One job in petroleum sector creates 6 jobs in other sectors. So you must succeed, because you must succeed for others. And while you're succeeding, what will help you to go there, to get where you want to get, is the vision. Oil and gas industry is so unique and so special. You will have to have a vision to deal with all sorts of complex decision-making process. You will have to look at your fiscal regimes. There is a very complex structure of operator and contractors and subcontractors, and they're all unique and they all play absolutely different role in the project implementations. The most complex supply chain is in oil and gas. Logistics, hard to think of. Project financing. Following the previous speech, we understand how complex and as an adventure by itself it can be. And here, what will help you to get where you want to get, again, is the vision. Another quality, however, is the flexibility. Every day, there will be hundreds of decisions made. And those decisions are about how stringent your environmental rules, how specific your local content requirements, how you interact with your investors. All the licensing procedures, they work today, tomorrow they will have to be revisited. That also happens. And contracting and procurement rules and regulations and legislation and many, many, many more. What I know for sure, you will have to be flexible. But what I learned over the years is flexibility, and being flexible means something else for others. Being flexible does not mean lowering down your standards. Being flexible means looking always for alternative, creative ways to get there. And if we're not flexible, we will not get to our vision. So let me tell you one story, finally. In Sakhalin 2 times, we had to build first LNG plant in Russia. Absolutely first. No LNG in Russia before. And together with that, we had to build first specialized port in Russia. What I mean by specialized port is that that port gets attached to the LNG plant and it only exists for offloading the cargo from that LNG plant, which is crude oil, yes, and LNG. But it's the port that's closed for anyone else. And even a peaceful passage through that port is not allowed. Guess what? The country's legislation didn't allow for that. Management of the company and professionals from various functions spend years trying to knock on the doors and open the doors in authorities and trying to get it through. You have to have legislation to be able to create a specialized port. We hate the people who understood what we wanted to achieve, who understood why we're doing it. Japan is waiting for the cargoes. who understood what has to be done, but wouldn't be keen to sign off on the pieces of legislation we needed to create. We ultimately built the port, and we ultimately built the plan. And it's one of the world's largest integrated projects in the world, but we are proud of the fact that Sakhalin 2 accounts for 4% of the world's LNG supply. And we were very happy to help Japan as our close neighbor through the times of Fukushima and the energy shortages. No one can stop growth. The growth will happen. Talmud says every blade of grass has an angel leaning towards it, whispering, grow, grow, grow. And every blade of grass will press through cement, seeking for the light. So we cannot stop growth. What we can do, we can help it. Resilience is another quality that will help you to get through this difficult time, this difficult start, when things don't work as you want them to work. And I want to inspire you, when stakes are high and stress levels are high and it seems there is no light in the tunnel, you will have to stay resilient. And that are the moments when your commitment to your vision will be tested. It will be put to the test and you will have to prove you are committed. And it's only vision that will guide us. Remember, there are people who see what they want, and there are also people who see only what prevents them from having what they want. The people who see what they want are the visionaries. You ought to become ones, for yourself and for others. I here put all the known top 10 exploration and production risks. Yes, we live in the world of volatile oil and gas prices. Yes, there are natural disasters. There are even inaccurate reserve estimates that can hit this country. Stay resilient. And risks are known, but you can prepare and learn from others. What I also wanted to talk about is Uganda's unique advantages. Not many of you realize, and perhaps some of you do, but Uganda has advantages that are not obvious for those who work and live in Uganda or in Africa. Harsh weather conditions. That's what we had to deal in Sakhalin. Believe me, the weather in Sakhalin in Russia is not like the weather in Uganda. That's one of the unique advantages. Language skills. During my long walks in Kampala, everyone I spoke to speaks English, and they are not in oil and gas industry. Another thing to appreciate, political stability, priceless. Interaction between authorities, you have a Minister of Finance talking to Minister of Energy, priceless. And that's from my 15 years of comparative analysis. And leadership with the right set of values, priceless. But every talent must be developed, and every advantage must be used, otherwise there will be no gains. And it's now Uganda's turn to go and create its vision. So I will finish this speech with what I see for Uganda. And it's inevitable. It's the country that's rich with hydrocarbons. It's totally inevitable. There will be foreign direct investment flowing into this country. Billions and billions of dollars will reach. The development here will continue. But what I see, every stream of life will be touched by the foreign direct investment, and every citizen of this country has to benefit from it. Stay focused, have a vision, stay resilient, and thank you for listening.